Everybody give it up for Harges.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all remember sitting up a woman when he said, naked, shut him up. Y'all a good crowd. How was the journey so far? Y'all ready for a descent? Take your seatbelts off. Now, when I say Sawbona, you say Yabo Sawbona. 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 Sawbona means I see you. Yabo Sawbona means I also see you. It's a greeting that I learned. It's a greeting that I learned in South Africa in 2010. It is a primal greeting of the ancestors. It shows how important sight is. It shows how important it is to be seen. That acknowledgement of sight creates ingenuity, or it can create fear. So let's journey 33 blocks north of here in my neighborhood, with the southern border at my church at 29 blocks north of here. The church is named Broadway. Woo! The 4 blocks of radius around the church, there are 4,000 people labeled low income. My title there is the Roving Listener, and my job is to find the gifts and talents for everybody in the life of the community. Find a place for that gift, celebrate that gift in ways that build community, economy, and mutual delight. And I had a cool job done. The pastor of the church is a friend of mine named Reverend Mike Madden. I met him actually at another church in South Bend, Indiana. We got connected because of our love for stories and the belief that everybody has a gift. And a gift shouldn't sit up on the shelf, it should be activated. We would tell each other stories time and time again. We continue the ritual today, telling us stories about people's gifts we see. Now, Mike confessed to me he was the associate pastor 28 years ago at Broadway. His title was the pastor of the streets. Some of the neighbors called him the hoodlum priest. His job was to dramatically change and painfully change a summer program. From basketball for the boys, to cheerleading for the girls, to arts, drama, recreation, every week built with a spiritual principle. Devotions in the morning, devotions in the afternoon. They served 250 young people in that neighborhood and said it was tight. They even almost broke their hands on their back smacking. But the last 9 months he was there, he did 9 funerals for young black men in the 4-block radius, all under the age of 24. 9 young men. Now we got a dilemma here, because Reverend Mike and the crew had set out to change the lives of people. And at that time, the graduation rate was getting worse. And they were serving, doing good work. And plus 9 young men. He goes on to say to me, people would tell him, at least you couple people beat the odds. Few people beat the odds. He goes on to tell me, I don't want to help a few people beat the odds. I want to change the odds for everybody. It is the question that has driven our work with the Roving Listener. But we had one problem 10 years ago. The summer program that Mike had changed into was still there. And we needed to change it. And so what we did, I wonder what y'all, do anybody think can guess what we did? We followed the principles, and we hired young people to go meet their neighbors. And they did 3 things. They named the gifts. They connect them. And then they lay hands and pray and celebrate the goodness of the neighbors, of the gifts that are already there. Now, one of those young men that was part of that first beginning was a young man named Montel. Now, Montel grew up around the church. He was 3rd generation. He was raised by his mother and his grandmother. And Miss O'Bannon is a force to be with. Right? That's his grandmother. Montel also had some challenges in school. He had spent time in places where they isolate kids in the classroom. He often says how much of a low expectation they have of him. They put him out in the hall and they allow him to cover. By the time he was a freshman in high school, he received a certificate of completion and a letter attached to it that we can no longer teach Montel. Also, there was a letter saying that the things he'll never be able to do. Montel would never be able to get his driver's license. I know that's not true because he took my car. He'll never be able to do algebra. He'll never be able to use technology. Now, he Facebooks all the time. And the only job he'll be able to get is working minimum wage. So he has no meaning invisible. Now, as an organization that care about people, we were pretty pissed off. And so what do you think we tried to do? Not the right thing. We wanted to fight. We wanted to take this institution to court. Then we got sense of ourselves and said, let's talk to his first teachers, his mother and his grandmother. Now, Miss O'Bannon knows who we are. I've been knowing her ever since I moved here. And one of the things she knows about us is that we care about people's gifts. So she challenged us. I want to use this boy's gift. So we have a practice around in our place where we invest in meals. We invest in meals informally so we can see people. Something we don't do every day, not even in families. So Montel took a little bit of the money and paid 2 of his neighbors to cook a meal. And he invited 20 people. Some people from the church, some of his neighbors, some people from his school. And Dwayne, the youth pastor, 6 people in the circle, and he set Montel in the circle. And he went around the room and had everybody share Montel's gift. Montel's a great hugger. He's a great connector. The dude is spiritually sound. And then we get to his mother and his grandmother. They blew our mind. The boy, 15 years old, they go on and say that Montel is a healer. Now, Miss O'Bannon is in a wheelchair. When I first met her, she was walking the streets. She said, who do you think bathed for me? Cooked for me? Get the other grandkids off to school? Montel. She said, I had a sister. Montel's great aunt that just passed away. Who do you think was her hospice care? Until her dying day. He bathed her. He cooked for her. He cleaned her. Montel became visible. And as we sat around the circle, the tears started to formulate out of our eyes like libations. Remembering that we must see. And we asked Montel, what did it feel like to hear your gift played back to you? And we all kind of, this like this. And Montel, with weeping voice, says, I never thought what I did mattered. I never thought what I did mattered. Now I'm going to tell you, Montel is doing fine. He's about to graduate officially from high school. He's going to go to school for nursing. So he's using the field quality. But the story don't stop yet. So Montel is a teacher. So I get a call. I'm in Georgia telling stories like I'm doing now for my local seminary. And it's Carol on the phone, and she said, would you like to come teach a class? Now I'm pretty tired. I said, I'm ready to get home and spend time with my folks. And she said, we'll pay you. I said, how much? And I also proceeded to say, leave the check blank. Now I get on the phone with Montel, and did you want to teach a class? And he says to me, yeah, what do I got to do? And I said, just tell your story. So now Montel tells the story. It's tight. They hand him the business card. We walk out of the room. And before we do, we have him sign his check. And then we reminded everybody. Remember what the school said that Montel would make? Minimum wage. But now he's worth $100 an hour. In Ralph Ellison's poem, The Invisible Man, the man set out to find his true self. At the same time, he found out that he was invisible to others because the color of his skin and where he lived and his disability. What if we bothered to take a deeper look? What would we see? Will we see our own greatness in their reflection? What is the role of the social service agencies and the church if we cannot see, if we cannot touch, if we cannot make what was once invisible visible?